Hi, welcome to the channel. Today's video is titled Candace Owens was right. Leaked TPUSA text exposed Charlie Kirk's Israel pressure. Okay, we are going to check this video together because at this point everybody knows about the text message and stuff and whatever was written on there. So we're gonna check this video together. People are like, "Oh, it's real and it's not," and stuff. But again, people have come to the confirmation and realization that it is real. So yeah, we're going to check this video together, and I'll love your thoughts and your contribution in the comments below. Let's dive right in.
We talked about Candace Owens, if you remember, when the Candace Owens conversation came about. And then I called you and I say, hey, Eric, people are asking questions about two items. One, the comment you made about being on the board, and the other one was a comment made about that Candace hadn't spoken at Turning Point USA for 2 years. I think you said that. And then the audience sent a message, which was June of 2024, 18 months or 14 months prior to you speaking. I know you responded to it on your channel, but people want to see on you responding here as well. What do you have to say to the audience?
So it remains. 2019, I was going from a show I was hosting in D.C. to a restaurant just outside the D.C. area. I get a phone call. It's Charlie Kirk. He said, Eric, I'd love to have you on the board of Turning Point USA. It just, it wasn't maybe a year or two of its real gusto at the time. I said, Charlie, I love your vision. I'd love to do that. I've spoken, and I was an advisory board member from 2019 to 2024 ballpark, early 24. And then I moved over to the honorary board. I'm still on their honorary board. So anyone who says like, oh, he's not on the board. No, I'm not on the actual day-to-day business of the board, but I'm an honorary board member after spending 5 years as an advisory board member. Clear that up, walk past that. As far as the comment on Candace, Pat, I think I said I hadn't seen her, or she hadn't been a speaker at TPUSA for a couple of years. And I guess I was mistaken because it was 18 months. And I had forgotten about the 2024 event as I think she was pregnant. Anyway, Candace Owens' army let me know it. They were very upset. And this was all stemming from kind of a back and forth I had with Adam about, she was blaming Israel for Charlie Kirk's assassination. I just didn't think that was a fair assessment. And then turns out the next day she said it was the U.S. government who assassinated Charlie Kirk. I have no axe to grind with Candace Owens or her fan base. That's fine. I'm just living in the real world a little bit more reality based. I believe there are forces behind Charlie Kirk's assassination, but I don't think it's Israel. I'm pretty sure it's not, and I'm pretty sure it's not the U.S. government.
Who do you think it is? I mean,
I think it's the trans activist group funded by the Soros network of liberal progressive lunatics. And whether it's directly funded or they just fund these Antifa groups and it's riles up their base, and their base is anti-Trump. Anything pro-Trump gets in the way. And because of Charlie's success reaching into young people, he became a target to this whole Antifa, trans, progressive left cabal.
Did you see the text that Candace showed a couple days ago? Have you seen the text she showed the exchange?
I don't think I've
Rob,
seen it.
Do you have the text? I don't know if you do or not. If you do, pull it up. I'll read it. Is that it's going to be too long to go through for 3 minutes. But Charlie Kirk, right? Go to the text part. Okay. So Charlie Kirk just lost another huge Jewish donor, $2 million here because we won't cancel Tucker Carlson. I'm thinking of inviting Candace, 3:49 p.m. Oh, Charlie Kirk, Jewish donors playing to all the stereotypes. I cannot and will not be bullied like this. This is Charlie Kirk saying this, leaving me no choice but to leave the pro-Israel cause. Please don't invite Candace. This might feel good short term, but it's not good long term, in my opinion. Like all groups, you're going to get a wide variety of opinions. That nasty free will thing that God bestowed on us make life frustrating at times. Can you go a little bit right to see what the next exchange is?
I don't believe there is.
Is that it?
I think that's it. And then Andrew Kulvit from Turning Point USA came out yesterday. I do have that clip as well, where he confirms that those text messages are real.
Okay, you want to play that clip?
Yes.
Okay, I think there was kind of like a distraction going on there, but let me just say during the stuff and order. But let me just say this, right? There are lots of factors or lots of things to look at it regarding the murder of Charlie Kirk. But again, it's always good to ask questions, especially where some things are not right. But what I don't fully subscribe to is blaming or looking for blaming this, and blaming everybody and coming up to nothing, right? Because yeah, everyone is deeply upset, and it's only fair or it's only right to look for anybody to blame, to say, oh, this and this and this and whatever and whatever. But again, potentially, I agree with what Eric stated here, because when you look at it, is people from the narrative or from the side that is against anything Trump, right? And over the years, you see that Charlie Kirk has been successful in that department, especially like, and most especially with speaking the truth and saying the right things. And lots of young men who before were not listening to um people like Charlie Kirk and stuff. I think after the assassination of Trump, lots of men realized that, oh wait, they need masculinity back in the society. And then there are some people who be like, oh, they don't want anything masculine or whatever. They want the entire world to be feminine and stuff like that. So they anything that would take masculinity out of the way, that is what they are subscribed to. So it could be one or the other. But again, to blame, to say, oh, is this, or blame is what, I'm not subscribed to that. I'm sorry. I don't subscribe to that. And so far so good. I just think like lots of people's emotions are running too high over on regarding this. And yeah, again, it still boils down to, it's a good thing to ask questions, but sometimes you have to like access some of the questions that you're asking if they are the right questions, right? Because sometimes you might ask some kind of particular type of questions that may put you in a tight position that be like, wait, what? Did you really just say that? Yeah.
Go. Have you seen the text you shown the
I
exchange?
don't think I've
Rob,
seen
do
it.
you have the text? I don't know if you do or not. If you do, pull it up. I'll read it. Is that a? Oh man, it's going to be too long to go through for 3 minutes. But if you is there? Okay, Charlie Kirk, right? Go to the text part. Okay, so Charlie Kirk just lost another huge Jewish donor, $2 million here because we won't cancel Tucker Carlson. I'm thinking of inviting Candace. 3:49 p.m. All Charlie Kirk Jewish donors playing to all the stereotypes. I cannot and will not be bullied like this. This is Charlie Kirk saying this, leaving me no choice but to leave the pro-Israel cause. Please don't invite Candace. This might feel good short term, but it's not good long term, in my opinion. Like all groups, you're going to get a wide variety of opinions. That nasty free will thing that God bestowed on us make life frustrating at times. Can you go a little bit right to see what the next exchange is?
I don't believe there is.
Is that it?
I think that's
Okay.
it. And then
Yeah, that
Andrew
was it.
Kulvit from Turning Point USA came out yesterday. I do have that clip as well, where he confirms that those text messages are real.
Okay, you want to play that clip?
Yes.
So Andrew's the good-looking guy that spoke at.
Yeah, he's the executive producer of Charlie Kirk's show. Yeah, he's been around Charlie since the very beginning.
Yes,
Part of
absolutely.
the show to address some of the things that have been going around on public, namely about a group text chain that has been made known and released by Candace Owens. And I just want to address it head on because, that was a screen grab that I had shared with people. So it is authentic. And I want to go into it because I actually am really excited that the truth is out there. I first started this show to address some of the things that have been going around on public, namely about a group text chain that has been made known and released by Candace Owens. And I just want to address it head on because, that was a screen grab that I had shared.
Going again. Okay.
Yeah, but he's confirming that screen grab of that text message did happen. So what Candace was showing
Did
is
he
accurate.
say because he shared it with somebody?
Yes.
And then
She did, yeah.
No, he's saying he shared it with somebody, and then that somebody shared it with Candace.
Yes.
Why are you sharing it yourself? I don't know.
I think that part sort of, because I know I've seen that video or seen the video, which we're also going to check, because I think I think, I don't think he actually said people, like people is friends. I think he meant people in the um federal government or FBI or stuff. I'm not sure the exact word used, but we're gonna play that to get the exact word. But I know that what he said was not like people like friends or just people you just want to share all of that. We're gonna check that because sometimes context matters and sometimes videos people sort of, so yeah.
I understand. Like he shared it with somebody, and then that somebody shared it with Candace.
Yes.
Why are you sharing it yourself? I don't know. I understand. Like look. At the end of the day, here's what I'm interested in. I don't care who was behind it. I just want to know who was.
Who?
I literally could care less who's behind it. I just want to know who was. When you're going back, Brandon, what do you think about when you hear these stories? Because you follow this stuff a lot closer than I do. Where are you at with this?
Yeah, I mean, I'm at a 99% certainty that there was some sort of organized force behind it. I mean, I think it'd be reckless to say that we know for sure who it was, but there's overwhelming evidence that there's foul play afoot, and there's evidence destruction, evidence hiding, evidence tampering, and like when you can't answer simple questions, that just raises all kinds of red flags. And there's that the lack of answering simple questions with direct answers as far as the eye could see. So, I mean, it's sad to think about. I mean, especially when we had
Can you see the pressures happening from people that are giving money? Can you see that happening?
Me? Yeah.
Absolutely.
I absolutely see that happening.
I could see donors saying, "Hey, I gave to you, and I'm coming from this angle, and these are my
Exactly.
preferences, the things that I support, and I'm giving you on that, and because I think you're in line with that." Donors put pressures on colleges. Donors put pressure on the new zoo that's being built. Donor pressure, especially mega donor pressure on recipients, is very, very real. And I'm with Brandon. There's a lot of things I just don't like about this, and that don't even make sense. There's an Oswald type feeling of this when the governor of Utah goes in, "We got him." That's not how these cases happen. We have made an arrest in this case, and we have high confidence that the suspect we've arrested, it will be proven, is guilty. That's the way you say it. And remember, with Oswald, they held up the gun immediately. They held up the gun here. I see these parallels. It was like, wow, that was fast. And a lot of it just bothers me. And I want to hear, and I don't speculate. I don't go further. I just say I see these things, and this bothers me as a fair-minded individual just looking at it. And I just want to know who. Like you, I just want to know.
Yeah, I will tell you firsthand. I was at an event of Turning Point USA, Mar-a-Lago. You may have gone with me. You may have not. I don't remember. Maybe we spoke about it outside, Tom. He raised $41 million that night. Okay? It was an incredible night. But let me tell you when this was. This is when Biden had won, and the Republican Party, a group of it that voted for Trump, had stepped away from him and become more pro-DeSantis. This is probably 22-ish. At the end of whenever he does the last thing of the year where he's raising the most money, December, maybe it's like some kind of, I'm sure you would know which one this is,
December,
right?
that's their big event. Yeah.
Okay, so that's the big
Student
event.
Action Summit. Yeah.
So I'm just an outsider. I'm not an insider with Turning Point USA. I have a relationship with Charlie Kirk. Him and I have spent a lot of time together. And one of our last conversations, if you remember, Tom, when we had at the dinner, the lunch we had at the mansions at MGM, where he wanted to have a meeting with me, you, and him long term, what he said about our relationship with Vaitim and him with us long term. Maybe one day we'll talk about that. But when I'm at that charity event, I'm sizing everybody up, and I'm just kind of seeing who's giving the money. Where people, I'd like to pledge $100,000. I'd like to pledge $500,000, and they kept a big one for the end. And we'd like to pledge, family money, offices, everybody's there, $2 million, $4 million. Total was $41 million. One lady got up and she said something, and she said, "Some of you here are hesitating to pledge because you're worried if Charlie is going to be behind only Trump and not DeSantis, if DeSantis were to be the lead and not Trump." And he says, "Here's one thing we know. Charlie's going to do the right thing." This lady is saying this. She was probably in her late 60s, early 70s. Very gentle way she spoke. But I'm in the back, and all I'm thinking about is, man, if you get into a business like this where you're raising money, you have to know that these guys are given $1 million, $2 million, and they're not just asking for a better table and a better seat. They're probably going to be pressuring you to do different things as well. What does that look like? Back in the days, I watched Dudley was doing a charity. We went to it and we raised a bunch of money, and I'm like, wow, what a great professional fundraiser. He recommended a book I read about raising money. It was a guy that had raised $2.1 billion. He was called the greatest beggar of all time. He joked about, I'm the greatest beggar of all time. And I read the book and I said, man, this is not for everybody. To be in a business of raising money, especially politically like this, I can for sure see how it can be annoying. So when I'm reading that text, I do believe that a person like Charlie Kirk will be like, I'm so sick and tired of you guys not letting me have who I want to have. Like I remember one time, you remember this, Tom, when we're in a board meeting and my board sits down and says, you have to get every one of your salespeople vaccinated. Like, no, I don't. Yeah, you do. No, I don't. I'm not going to get anybody. You have to get every insurance guy to get vaccinated. And we had a tough meeting. I said, guys, I'm just telling you right now, it's not going to happen. We started this company for people to have a free choice. But the board will try to do that, especially. Thank God we kept 80% of the company where we had control, and they couldn't make us do anything. And but this is a different situation. I'll give you the final words here on this topic here.
Listen, where do we go from here? Yes, I would agree with everything.
Do you want to know who killed Charlie? Would you like to know who killed Charlie?
I would like to get confirmation of who I believe killed Charlie. Patrick, we were sitting here, less than a week after Charlie was assassinated, and that text message between the alleged assassin and his boyfriend or his lover spelled out exactly the detail of why he did it, where he did it, how long he's been planning it.
That was the biggest bullshit text message I've ever read in my life.
It just laid it out to slam the door on this guy for a murder conviction, firing squad, so that the bigger brains and money behind the operation would never be discovered. I believe that to the bottom of my heart. And I'm not generally a conspiracy guy. The old guy that goes down and says, I shot him immediately. Like, who has the wherewithal to do that? And then the clown up front jumping around, making himself, there was just too many things that fell into place for it to be
the only guy that doesn't jump under a table when gunshots happen. It's an old man.
And the other idiot up front, guy waving like this, seconds after Charlie's assassination.
And then you do construction on the site. And then it's just too many, and too many, and then.
Yes, too many things that are not adding up.
On the end.
And then you send a limo back to Ford Motor Company within 48 hours. And it's on. May
I just tie this up with Candace? Yeah. Okay. So there were text messages going back where Charlie may have been disillusioned. That doesn't make the case for Israel assassinating Charlie Kirk.
Is that what she said? Because
I'm guessing that was the lead.
Is that what's being insinuated?
To be fair to Kansas, I don't think she ever said, I blame Israel. I don't think at all. I think she had concerns about Bibi.
She did. In fact, Bill Ackman said she's way off. She accused Bill Ackman of going to a party in the Hamptons.
No, those are two different things, Tom. So if I may, the one area where I had a challenge with is the what do you call it? The Bill Ackman thing exchange where Bill Ackman's like, I really don't want to respond to this, but let me go with one of my long, Bible quality type of a respond that he writes 50,000 words, and he responds to it, right? And then he shared a text message of afterwards. They talk about getting the ladies to go out to dinner together, and Charlie validated. Yeah, look, it seemed like a very cordial. The $150 million, I don't know about the $150 million offer that was made by Netanyahu or whoever to help Turning Point USA. That was one of the claims that was made. My problem is if it's 0-2, here's who did it. And you can have text, you can have other things. Great. That's fantastic. Let's read it and let's speculate. But to go 0-2, I think this is who was behind it. I think it's too early to do so.
Extreme.
Let's put all the people, all the, what do you call it? Like the movie, was it Usual Suspects with Kaiser Sose? You got all the guys in, like, who do you think it is? I think it's this guy. I think it's that guy. I think it's this guy. And sometimes it is Kaiser Sose. But sometimes it takes till the end of the movie to find out it was Kaiser Sose. And he tells a whole joke and he walks away and the limp is gone and then boom, Kevin Spacey walks away and everything changed. So we don't know. All I'm saying, and by the way, I appreciate you for being straight up about it and addressing this. And by the way, just so you guys know, he addressed it within 48 hours or 72 hours when I made the phone call. He talked about it at his show while you were doing it at Turning Point USA Property with Andrew, if I'm not mistaken.
Andrew and I, we were inside the compound the day after the memorial. It was a Monday after the Sunday memorial. And I did the show. I taped the show from inside the TPUSA compound. There was a massive, celebrating of Charlie's life outside the walls. And we were invited in. I did it with Andrew. I mean, the suggestion that I wasn't or am not involved with TPUSA is asinine.
Yeah, and I made the call to Candace Owens. Candace and I had a 30-minute conversation that day as well. I say, Candace, and we spoke about it, and we had a very, very good conversation together about this specific issue. And listen, anybody that's interested on finding out what happened here, I want to know because I love Charlie Kirk. Charlie to me was one of a kind. He was somebody that my kids looked up to, my boys looked up to. And there's a lot of guys right now. It's like, hi, I'm the new Charlie Kirk. No, you're not. It takes 10 plus years. It takes 31 years to be a Charlie Kirk. A lot of work. And you have to be multifaceted like Charlie. And God willing, I think others will rise up in their own way. But just like everybody was waiting for Reagan, nothing happened. God gave us a Trump. And Trump was able to go against evil maybe in ways that others couldn't.
Okay, here this part, but I just want to add and say something in regards to that because talk about donors. Yeah, definitely there's gonna be pressure from donors. No, not taking that away because I mean it's a huge project, and I don't think that Charlie Kirk didn't know that. He knew that. I mean, there are lots of pressure coming from donors and stuff and all that stuff, all that. And did it start now? It did not start now because I mean, look at Turning Point USA and look at where they are today. If if he wanted to take a back seat, like the donors, the pressure and whatever made him to like were too much or was too much, I don't think people USA would be where they are today, right? And again, he knows what he's doing. Obviously, he may have sought counsel from different people who potentially might have advised him on the way forward or what to do and how to do to have his mission or his vision for TPUSA standing today. Obviously, he knows the right thing to do, and that's what made TPUSA unique and different, right? But again, text message can be text message. Yeah, text message can be text message. And again, if donors are donating, exactly what Eric said here, if donors are donating for something, they understand that this is their mission, this is their vision, and you're supporting, they're doing it because you support it, so therefore they support it and they love the idea, and they're going to make sure that you stay on course or you stay on it. Yeah, one or two times somebody or some way might have had a change of heart to say, oh, okay, I think like this or I think differently. Potentially, I think maybe Charlie Kirk and some of the donors who may not like fully 100% agree with him may have come on a common ground to say, okay, let us do this or agree or just meet somewhere right in the middle. It works. It works. And TPUSA, I don't think everybody 100% would, before TPUSA got to where they were, I don't think all of the donors or some of the donors would 100% be in agreement. Some of them will say, okay, we don't agree 100%, but okay, this is, as long as we kind of agree or have a middle ground there, okay, let's get going or let's do it. And then talk about the text message, right? Even you, let's say you have a 9 to 5, there are sometimes you've told yourself that you're tired of your job, you don't like your job, you don't like the your boss or whatever. But guess what? In the morning you still take your bath, dress up to work and you go. It doesn't mean that you potentially just decided that, oh, because you don't like your job that instant, or you felt tired that time and you complained about it, then potentially you're done with the job. No, no. Because in the adult world, sometimes you feel tired and you just say some things. And yeah, it happens. It happens. And there are some people that so many times they must have complained about their job or not liking their job. That doesn't mean they want to quit. That doesn't mean they want to quit. But again, talk about the leaked text message and stuff. We're gonna check it here. I think we have it here. So we're gonna check it together to hear what Andrew said. Because for me, I love like for people to also understand and hear it, because lots of the time people are taking things out of context and whatever. And it got us to where we are today. So yeah, this is it. So let me play it right now.
I want to take the start of this show to address some of the things that have been going around on public, namely about a group text chain that has been made known and released by Candace Owens. And I just want to address it head on because, that was a screen grab that I had shared with people. So it is authentic. And I want to go into it because I actually am really excited that the truth is out there. I first want to say the reason I didn't share that screen grab publicly is because it was a private exchange, and I felt like it didn't necessarily comport with things that were already public. I wanted to not betray my friends' trust in that way. But I did share it with some people in government because it happened really quick. It was, it took 33 hours for authorities to get their suspect.
Exactly. He shared it with people of the government, from the government. Exactly. Because that was exactly what I wanted to point out or wanted people to hear. Because people be like, oh, maybe he was sharing and sharing and sharing. From his own mouth, he shared it with people from the government. Let's take it back.
There. I first want to say the reason I didn't share that screen grab publicly is because it was a private exchange, and I felt like it didn't necessarily comport with things that were already public. I wanted to not betray my friends' trust in that way. But I did share it with some people in government because it happened really quick. It was, it took 33 hours for authorities to get their suspect. And in those first moments, we wanted no stone unturned. We wanted to leave nothing unturned. So I shared it with a few people. Don't know where it went from there, apparently. But here we are. So one of the reasons, Blake, that I'm glad to have this now public, it was not mine to share publicly, but one of the criticisms we've received is that we don't care, we're not investigating every lead, we're not looking under every stone, and that somehow we're just like, sweeping things under the rug. And when I say that we want justice for Charlie more than anybody else, I really mean it, and no stone unturned. I mean, I don't know if you want to chime in on that part alone, but I have more to say.
Yeah, it has been so frustrating to have people blow up about this. Yeah. And I've certainly stated publicly, the reason I haven't weighed in on things is I am an eyewitness to events, and they've said, don't comment on things because anything you say can mess that up. I don't want to mess up any trial for the person who did this.
That's 1,000% right. And I will say I wasn't an eyewitness. I was not there. I flew to Utah immediately to be with the family and the team, but I was not an eyewitness. So there's that. But I am aware that in my role as spokesman for Turning Point USA, which is another hat I wear, that things I say, I'm cognizant of the fact that things I say could negatively impact an ongoing investigation. All right. But I will weigh in specifically on this issue of Israel because I know there's a lot of fascination. And I just want to say that, we have to let free speech be our North Star here, okay? Charlie was adamantly free speech, and I am not personally going to impugn anybody's character who is asking questions and looking for answers, all right? And I will say that text chain is consistent with public frustrations that he voiced many times, and I know, Blake, you were in the trenches on a lot of this stuff because we were workshopping how we were going to do the tour and what he's going to get asked about Israel, what was he going to say. And this is consistent with things that he told his friends, people that are, in the wider movement about his wrestle that he was going. And so I just want to say, what is the truth about the way Charlie felt about Israel? Well, it's complicated and it's nuanced, and it was a wrestle that was going on for months. And it's probably somewhere between the BB letter and the text group text.
I don't even think there's a between about it. I think those are entirely consistent with the exact same worldview. Yes. Charlie was not hiding things from people. People are going to try to make you fixate on a particular quote or a particular line to make you think that there was something hidden. There was nothing hidden about Charlie's views on Israel. Charlie, I worked with Charlie on every major issue that we talked about, you know, immigration, abortion, the transgender stuff. And he thought about the Israel issue a ton, all the time. It was in the news all the time. People cared about it a lot. He cared about it a lot. Just before the shooting happened, I finished reading, this is a 700-page book about the history of the Israel-Palestine conflict. I read this book because Charlie said, Blake, get really well versed on this so you can help me whenever it comes up and just know stuff off the top of your head.
Yeah.
So I read it for that reason. If you want to know Charlie's views on the Gaza war, he wanted the war to end. He didn't want America to take Palestinian refugees. He was annoyed when people advocated that. He didn't want American troops on the ground there or with any other war. And he was upset when he saw stories about churches being damaged or Christians being killed. But
Okay. That's that. We already got that. So you see, obviously, people are allowed to have or say some things. So let's say, for example, an employer, and I sort of understood from their everybody's angle, because I mean it's a good thing to ask questions, and sometimes you don't want to leave stones unturned, right? Untouched, right? So there are some things like, oh, okay, this might also help with the investigation. Let me share this all that stuff. But again, I don't think that that is ground or basis for people to be like, oh, start drifting from where the suspect is. Yeah, there are lots of distractions, lots of things to like add on to say, okay, yeah, but this makes sense. And again, it's good to ask questions, right? But still, once, well, I'm using the case of the employer because lots of people could relate to it, especially people who are 9 to 5. Because sometimes you might have this frustration about your job or about what you do. Even you as an individual, sometimes your business, you may not want to even get up to go to start up the business or even to open your store or whatever. But in that state of tiredness, you might just tell, oh, you're tired, you're weak, or you don't want to, you don't have the strength to do it. But again, you somebody have got to do it, right? But that moment of weakness where you they said something like, oh, you're tired, you don't feel like doing it, doesn't mean that, oh, you potentially will say you want to quit your job and stuff, or you don't want to run your business and all that. I mean, so I think lots of people, because now you're not seeing lots of people say it, oh, blame it on this, blame it on this, blame it on this, when if you're doing this blame, the exact one, because now you are now trying to, so many heads are being added together, it's drifting away from the real, from where you're supposed to face or what you're supposed to face, right? Which is not even making sense. And I just think that with this everything going on is a lot, and it's just creating so many distractions from nowhere. And obviously, I think whether we like it or not, Charlie Kirk is allowed to have his thoughts of opinion, his views on things, and maybe can sort of like, maybe that moment of weakness, feel things that moment, and get up again to say, okay, I mean that was a moment of weakness. I mean, sometimes even you to confess or to say some things to your friends and be like, oh, this, I feel this type of way. But then again, your friend will be like, but wasn't you that was sulking some couple of hours ago? And then look at it. So I know it's not in any way related to this, but I'm just like giving you, sharing instances, because people just read of one text message and then be like, oh, then this is it. This is how it is. No, no, it doesn't. No, I don't subscribe to that idea. I don't. Yeah, ask questions when necessary. Make sure no stones are left untouched. But again, you can ask questions and still like, okay, let's get back to the original cause or the original place. Because yeah, everybody wants to know the truth, or everybody wants to know who did it. Who did it? Everybody wants to know. But yeah, again, it's a good thing that we cross reference the video of Andrew Kulvit also sharing his thoughts about the leaked message rather. Let me know what you think. Make sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, and all that stuff. And until next time, see you in the next video.